Welcome to Hack It Bootcamp. I'm Trusty Rich and I'll be taking you through Introduction to Windows Exploitation. I have a couple of things listed here and that's what I'll be talking about in a nutshell. So for Windows structure, we'll actually be doing a Linux versus Windows comparison. And then we'll be talking about processes. Before that, we'll talk about shells. We'll also talk about navigation through the shells and processes, okay? And maybe file system. Okay, so file system is usually crucial to talk about. I almost forgot that. For common services, in Windows, you'll have like SMB, NetBIOS. Active Directory, we'll be talking about LDAP. And also, you all know that Active Directory is actually the centralized IT management framework in Windows. Okay. If I can type that correctly, so it's actually a framework. For the demo, we'll be using a box called BB2 from VanLab. Remember, VanLab is a vulnerable environment created by XCT. He's actually really good. You should actually check him out, and if you're interested in this kind of stuff, maybe consider paying a voucher to access his labs. They are really good and informative. So the target machine will be this box here called BB2, and this is the IP address. So let's start with Linux versus Windows. And we all know that Windows is closed source as opposed to Linux. So Linux is open source. Most of Linux distros are open source. Another thing we can talk about is, the root user. The user with highest privileges in Windows is called administrator. And in Linux is called root. But now mostly for like Windows processes, they'll use another user with high privileges. Is actually an unuser account called anti-authority system. For shells, okay, another comparison will be maybe the file system. Windows will use devices and drives. And another comparison will be maybe on paths and capitalization, and Windows paths will of course start with something like that, and then some file path, and then the file name. Okay, awesome. So having this in your mind, I will be able to go down to now the shells in Windows, and you can start with Windows management interface command line. So Windows management interface command line, and then we have PowerShell, and of course you all know CMD, and we have WSL. So PowerShell is CMD on steroids, but now with this one you'll be able to like access most of the critical infrastructure that make up the Windows system, like the .NET directly calling the interface. The API is the .NET APIs. For CMD, it's just a simple text-based interface. For interacting with Windows management, with Windows system. So this is the older. This came first before this one. For this one, it's actually Windows subsystem for Linux, and you can actually use it to like run Linux stuff in Windows. For navigation, we'll be talking about simple commands such as copy. These are commands that you all know in Linux. So copy will do similar to what Linux will do with cp. So if you do cp help or maybe man cp, and you'll see that you can just copy files and directories. We'll also look at other commands like maybe make a directory. That is self-explanatory. Remove directory. Rename. Okay, we talked about rename. Maybe help. Maybe version, just to get the version of Windows, and a lot more. As you continue, you will get a lot more of your head. Unfortunately for me, my memory does not serve me right. For processes, we'll just be, enumerating processes with maybe commands like scheduled tasks. Uh, what were they again? Yeah, scheduled tasks, task list, uh, stuff like that. And for the file system, we talked about drives and devices. For common services, we'll be having SMB, NetBIOS, and all that. So I think I'm actually repeating that. So let's come to shells, and I'll actually be showing different shells. So the first one will be CMD, and this is actually CMD. So we talked about version, and you can actually get the version there. You can say net users, and you'll get all the users here. So for myself, this user here, and there's of course the administrator and the guest account. Mostly this account will be disabled for security reasons. We can actually go to PowerShell, and this is now Windows on steroids. And the way PowerShell works, you can be able to call upon .NET APIs, and it actually uses CMDlets as opposed to how Linux works. For Linux, if you're typing ls will actually be a binary somewhere. But for now Windows, it will be a CMDlet, just a function. Yeah, so maybe stuff like get uh, get what GCI. Look at me remembering the abbreviation rather than the whole thing. Get child item actually. Yeah, get, is it child item? Yeah, get child item. So this is analogous to ls in Linux or dir in CMD. Okay, so having said that, so this is usually the CMDlet, and you can chain it to other things like there are a lot of things that you can chain it to, maybe match. Okay, uh, select string. I'm trying to get this off my head. Maybe select string desktop, and it will actually select that. So it will actually tell you that desktop is actually in the listing that you get here. Okay, let's get that done. For WMIC, I'll have to look for a good example for it, but you can actually go check on that. Mostly I use it to like look at those things like processes and all that. But normally also in Windows you can actually use things like task list, I think, like that, and it will actually list all the processes here. So I want actually to be a little more quick, just to make sure that the video is not so long, but it will just give you the gist of what this is and how you can actually go and do it on yourself, maybe more research and all that. For WSL, so let's talk about WSL. So this is the WSL. It will enable you to run a Linux subsystem in Windows. So for example, I have Ubuntu, and let's see, and yeah, there we are with Ubuntu. You can even do like environment, like all the commands you do in Linux. So tag A, okay, sorry for that. Host name and then like ID, like that. So yeah, that is WSL. Also, you can actually get it. You can actually get it running via the CMD, like just using like this name bash, and you will actually be in the Windows system now. Yeah, like that. And mostly that's it in a nutshell. Let's exit out of that, and let's talk about file system. File system, we said the way Windows handles its files and systems, it doesn't consider everything in the file system a file like Linux does. So it will consider them as drives, directories, folders, and all that. So let's enumerate the file system here, and okay, sorry for that. So let's just get another Windows another CMD running, and we can actually do fsutil. Can use fsutil literally to like enumerate the drives. So fs fs info, and then just write drives. And I have actually two drives here, and you can actually change from these two drives by just writing each letter and a colon, and now you're in another drive. So maybe a directory, you can see that I do have games and something else here. We can actually make a directory called presentation like that. We can echo stuff like that. What I'm not sure about is echoing to a file, maybe a file.txt. Oh, that works. And then you can actually get something here. You can actually do find string and then all.txt. Okay, that will probably not work because of things. Maybe you need to type it like maybe through a dir. Okay, but okay, you get the gist of it. So we can remove file, or rather delete file. Oh god, I'm so used to Linux to a point where this is actually not syncing. And then you can remove the directory presentation, and then if we do dir, it's not there. So now that we know how to navigate a little in Windows, we can actually talk about common services. SMB is Sambas. This is shared message blocks, I think. Server message blocks, yeah. So this usually runs on port 445, and you actually want to always enumerate it if you find it open on a Windows machine. This is network basic input output system, and it actually makes sure that machines can talk in a local area network. For Active Directory, LDAP will be the protocol that will be more like handling a lot of stuff in Active Directory. I remember Active Directory is more of like a centralized IT management framework. So it will handle authorization, authentication, and all that through protocols such as LDAP. Another thing I would want to mention in Active Directory, I could say that the highest, more of like a bid, or rather the highest level component of an Active Directory is usually called a forest. And what actually stores whatever is in the forest is actually called a DC, domain controller. And then it goes down like that to a point where you reach to machines. So a machine is a component, or a user object, or a machine object. Yeah, exactly, object is the correct word. So have we talked about all this so that you can like jump into the demo? Okay, so let's copy the IP and let's see if we can actually ping it. Okay, so what I'll do, I'll actually check on my environment and see what is happening, and then continue the recording. So let me pause it first. Okay, let's check on the VPN. Just restart it like that. Okay. Yeah, looks like I had forgotten my. Okay, can we ping Google? Okay, so this should essentially work. So let's get our VPN working. Give me a minute. The way we do this, and I'm actually gonna copy paste this nicely. The whole going to a new line is not very interesting to me. So nmap underscore output, and then tag verbose mode. So SC is for service scripts, service version. So it will like run some default scripts on this IP address, and then try to get the version of each service that is running on the IP address, and then it will save the output to this file. And then this VVV, it's actually for verbose mode, and it will actually allow us to see what is actually happening at a go. Like as it enumerates, it will actually give us some information. So I've already done that, and we have the nmap output here, and you can see that we have SMB port 445 as we talked. We have port 88 for Cabero, so the authentication thing that uses KDC, that is Key Distribution Center. Yeah, KDC. So you can actually dig deep into that. It's a very interesting topic, how the authentication actually works. We have LDAP, and actually for now that's all you have to know. And we also have like the DC name. and the domain name. So the domain name is this guy here, bb2.vl. That's nice. So what you can do now, we can actually try to use crackmap.exec and actually try with no password, no username. And what we'll be able to realize is that we are actually able to log in. So it actually allows null authentication, and that by itself is actually a misconfiguration. So this guy here gives us a really nice output, and this is what I actually copied here. And up here I was actually explaining in the video that will not be published, of course, that Windows will actually have two main authentication mechanisms. So it will actually maybe use the Kerberos one or maybe NTLM authentication. So for this one, you'll be using hashes, this one more of tickets and all that. So pretty much it. So what crackmap.exec has actually done right now is that it's not actually being maintained, and they have like a new tool called netexec. But as for now, we can actually add this to our etc hosts. I'm pretty sure I might have added it. So etc host like that, and pretty sure I have added it. So what we'll actually do is just add the DC part. Awesome. So what you can do, we'll actually try using crackmap.exec now to get the shares. And let's see, it's actually taking its sweet time. So crackmap.exec doesn't give us anything. Let's try guest login to see if it also has like a misconfiguration. And yeah, we have this weird error. So let's switch to the new tool. There's something about old tools that you can't really explain, but anyway, maybe that's why they are old tools. So let's see if the new tool works. Okay, the new tool also doesn't work. Let's try it again. And if it doesn't work, we go to the old tool. That's now interesting. Yeah, let's switch up to the old tool again. This is actually gonna get very interesting. Well, what do we have here? So we have like this whole net BIOS thing, and it's saying that it actually timed out. So I'm not actually buying this, so might be an issue with the VM, but actually I'm not buying this. So let's try with maybe just a random account to see if the misconfiguration actually persists for even a random account. So let's see. Yeah, funny enough, that doesn't work. So let's see if the box is actually up. Okay, the box is actually up. So what are we gonna try now? Okay, let's use SMB client. So if this tool doesn't work, we try another one, right? That's always the of momentum of cybersecurity. We always try a new tool. So we need to specify a user. So I'll just say trust maybe. Yeah, that was not found. So what we can try is the guest guy. Well, that also doesn't work. I'm not sure whether it's the placement of the arguments. So I'll just use it from here. Like we just like make sure they're the ones starting, because I'm seeing the username was actually not being changed while I was using guest. So that also doesn't work, funny enough. Is this the IP address? Okay, so kinda worked. So yeah, pretty much it. So this is an interesting endeavor whereby we are able to see that one tool will fail if try the other one. But I'm curious. Let's just give it another try, because I'm curious. Shouldn't be that nasty. least let's give it a benefit of doubt and see what it will actually do this time. Let's copy these guys here to our notes. Okay, awesome. Yeah, and it actually worked. So the good thing with this tool is that you'll actually get the permissions. I'm pretty sure even with SMB Kakos, you can actually get the permissions, but now for that it will be actually for actual files in there and not this. So we are using guest account, we are actually able to see that we can read into this share. We can also read and write into the homes share and some of these default shares here. I think this is an interconnect, inter-PC connect, something of sort. Not sure. But anyway, so these are default one, these are default one too. So what we'll do, we can actually try to log into this one, and for that I'll actually use a packet, and let's just get rid of this, and this guy here, we'll just call this guest, and actually since we actually have the domain name, why not use it, bb2.vl. So the password is just that one. And once we are able to log in, we can actually use something like shares command to, do the whole thing. I'm not sure whether it's the network thing not working or not, because now this is now taking a minute. Let's see. This is working all right. Still not working. Maybe try it again. Yeah, it's kind of taking its minute. There might be a weird delay here. So let's use another tool. Now, okay, so just do smb client taq, sorry, so taq guest, and then bb2 dot wait, uh probably the password is not the password but the IP address. I guessed that right. So sudo vm, and then so it's vim actually, so sudo vim that, and then so vim is just an editor, so we'll just try to edit these guys. So 82 and then 65. So yeah, so let's use in packet, and then we just hit enter, and we are logged in. So we can use like shares to see the shares, and we are able to see that we have the apps one here. So we can just say use apps list, and we can see that we have a dev one, so list. And funny enough, we actually do have this thing. So I'll actually log out because we are not in the right directory. Go back here. So home, okay, cd home, curly, and then the presentation like that, and then we'll just redo this whole thing. So use apps, cd dev list, and then we can actually cut this file here. So we have like a login vb script. So I feel like this script will actually be run at every time someone logs in. So we can't actually open it there, so let's just get it. There's so many ways to catch a rat, so let's just get it, and we have it saved in our machine. So the other one we can be able to read and write is actually homes. So this is not a default share, so we can just say like use homes list, and we have a couple of users. This is awesome. So just copy them to maybe somewhere here, and so what we will do, we can actually go to maybe amelia.griffith like that list, and we have nothing. So maybe go back to Carl mode, so like that list, and we also have nothing. So but we have the users, so I'll just run away from that. And funny enough, coming back here, we get something very interesting, and I'll explain why. So we have actually read write. So we can actually write into this script. That's very interesting. It's one hell of a finding. So we'll just go back to our crack map exec and try to check the password policy for these guys. Let's hope it works. So that doesn't work. Let's give it a minute. If it doesn't, we go ahead to use the newest tool. This is really a pickle. Let's see. Yeah, that doesn't work also. Wait, the IP address is actually right. So okay, let's just go back and back. Okay, home and then curly and then presentations like that. So what we do have here is a login script, and we can actually see that it will be run, and it's actually in this volume bb2 to scripts. So, and funny enough, we actually saw that we can be able to get into this volume. Can we? No, we can't. So okay, so it's there. Okay, awesome, but we know we can actually read into this file. So let's see, this volume. Okay, just going back to counter check, we actually do have the notes here. Really, okay, we can read and write in homes. So I'm actually curious, if we placed this script in one of the users account, will it be ran? Because it's in scripts and all that. Okay, awesome. So what we can actually do, we don't have to deal with that. Since we have like some findings here, we can actually always copy this guy here. Wait, I didn't copy Amelia, but anyway, let's just copy the guy here, and or rather we can actually take it from here again. So, and then we'll just save them to users. So the good thing with this is that we can always like clean up using bash, and I'll just use awk here. So for people who are new to Linux, I know this is gonna be a pickle, but you can actually use awk to get these fields like separated. For instance, if you like print one, so it will actually only print these guys here. So you can actually try to print like the fifth field, like 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8. So the eighth one, and we have like users who are cleaned. So you just name these to cleaned underscore users. Okay, so having that, now we can use crack map exec, and now instead of like taq guest, we kind of use this list now to now try any user who we can log in with without a password. That's another misconfiguration that you can check for, so we have some failures here and there, but that's nice. So one of the things we have found out is that there is a login script. So there is a login script being run at login. Okay, so this is one of the findings. So the next thing you can try to do is use the username as password, but then we don't want to brute force. So tac no brute force. Okay, tac no, and then brute force like that, and then we want to continue on success. Continue on success. Okay, was it like that? Let's see. If it doesn't error out, then that's the correct thing, and it doesn't, fortunately. But then we now have a user we can actually use here. Let's see. We have a user there, and we have user library. So this is so interesting. Awesome. So now what we can actually do, we can try now to enumerate the shares using this user here. And this will actually be very interesting. I'll just copy the guest thing here simply because I hate typing and it's a list. So now can we check for shares? Okay, so let's see. We are able to log in. That's awesome. It's working as expected. Wait, what? I'm using NetExec. That's interesting. So this new tool is also sweet and smooth. So let's see. Funny enough, now we are able to even read sys volume. Now, if we do like in packet, and then we'll actually use this user here, and then the password will be that guy there. We can just do use sys volume like that, list, and we actually saw the script thing was actually here, right? List, and yeah, we actually do have it. And then pay a key attention at the actually the permissions, and you can see that you can actually be able to read the script here. Okay, so we can't be able to read this .vbs. I thought, okay, I thought wrong. So yeah, you can actually be able to read it, and this is actually how it's being able to run it, and it's actually an initialization script that actually maps these things to these drives here. Remember, I showed you how to enumerate the file system in Windows, so that's gonna be handy in this case. We can be able to read and write into this file, so we can always add like our malicious VB script here and be able to run it. So what I will actually do in this case is we will get out of this thing here and try to enumerate for the password policy. Yeah, and we can actually see that uh, account will be reset after 10 minutes. So if you lock an account, you can actually wait for 10 minutes for it to be reset. And so the lockout threshold is none. So this account will never be locked out. You can always brute force as much as you want. It is a good finding for someone who is doing a pen test. Okay, so we already have the way in. We want to write our stuff here. So probably we need to now have our own login.vs VBS. Okay, so I'll just vim login.vbs. So before I do that, I'll actually copy these guys here. Come there. Also, the way VB script works, this what were they being called? Can I remember? So this is a function in VB.net, but normally someone starts with like, I don't know, module. You do like module and then sub, something of sort. But I actually have a faint memory of it. But normally that's what happens. So let's just get here and copy paste everything. Okay, that sucks. So let's copy it here again. Okay, and now we have things aligned. I'll just grab my shell from somewhere here. So give me a minute. Let's see. Can I even get my shell here? So pretty much it. Okay, so I'm just going to copy it. Okay, let's come back here. and we actually want to call this malicious.vbs, and I'll just copy there. So what I'm essentially doing, I'll be copying a netcat binary to this part here of the Windows machine, this part, and then I'll just be running it to get a shell back. Okay, so that ain't so complicated, is it? So let's get to the Windows binary. I think they're usually in user, and then is it the binary, and then the Windows something. Okay, we can always use locate netcat 64 like that, netcat.exe. Okay, so we do have one here. So user share awesome. So if you go in here, you realize that the netcat that we have is actually this guy here. So we just need to rechange the name here. Awesome. So let's see. We have netcat. So what we can do now, we can actually launch the server using Python 3 http.server port 80, right? So that will be running on port 80. So what essentially we are doing, we are hosting this folder. So if anyone visits our IP, he can actually be able to access these files here. So for instance, if you like go to now, because we are in my machine, I can actually do localhost and you'll be able to see the files there. So that's an easy way of doing that, but that is not Windows related. So I'll move the malicious thing to VBS. Okay, where are we really? So move login to home curly presentations and then VB2, and then we'll actually move the malicious one there too. And now we have a clean isolate here. So let's get here, and then we can actually use in packet there, shares, use is volume, cd bb2.vl I think, and then cd scripts list. So we need another tab here, and then I'll just cd to presentation, and then I'll just move the malicious to login. Okay, so if you if you cut login.vbs, it will actually do this stuff. This is malicious, so it will actually try to get this file from this server here, and then it will save it into this location in Windows, and then it will actually launch a new CMD shell to us. Okay, so pretty much it. So I can actually do put login.vbs. So actually this is just uploading like a new file that will overwrite what we have here. But then before we do that, I'll just set up a listener. So netcat nlvp, then the port. So this is the port here. Yeah, so we'll be listening for any connections that calls back our machine at this port. So what this will do, it will launch a connection to this IP address, which is our machine on this port, and then for us we will be listening for that connection on that specific port. So let's put that in, and as we wait for the connection, or rather for our malicious script to be run, we can actually be doing something else. So you can see here, this is another log. So it has actually tried to get it. So it first accessed our server, and then it has downloaded the file. Let's see if we get a connection. If we don't, maybe the netcat is actually not there, but I could actually get a feeling. I'm not sure whether this is owned by root, because if it is, things are gonna get ugly. Okay, so yeah, this is pretty much owned by root. So just go to home curly. I wanted to go to temporary, and then something just told me I needed to be here otherwise. So let's copy it. So cp was it what user share Windows binary, and then netcat here list. Oh, okay, we got a shell nevertheless. Okay, yeah, so let's just assume that. So I'll just leave this for a minute, and then we'll explain something about LDAP. So remember, LDAP is a protocol being used by this centralized database that is used to manage like Windows machines. So normally you could use LDAP to like download the configurations, actually the data in the AD, not like the real like user data, but like things that relate to the object files. For instance, the forest, how the forest is structured, the computers in that forest, the users, their descriptions. You know, when you're creating a user, you need to like give like a small description, but it's not a must. So things like those. So I'll use a tool called Bloodhound, and actually it's this one, but now .py, and the DC I'll actually set it to DC dot, what was it again, bb2.vl, and then for the user it's actually Kalmol, this person here. So for the password it's still the same guy. Okay, so bb2.vl, and then for the IP we need to get it from here, so it's this IP here. Awesome. So what this is actually doing, it will log in into this and then using LDAP and then get the data, and then it will store it as a zip format file. Okay, so as that is running, we can now try to wait, what, 65 at that. So well, we really do have like a lot of problems today, don't we? Okay, so interestingly, that is not working. We could use actually crackmap exec to get this data, but for some reasons, let's see. But normally the name server is actually the IP address. Can we say DC? I feel like this is a thing with like this is a thing with like the DNS. So let's see. Yeah, things are getting ugly over here. bb2.vl. Yeah, that wouldn't work, would it? You need like a specific IP address. Yeah, things are really getting ugly. Okay, we're just gonna leave that for a minute right now, and then let's see. So okay, we are in Windows, so we probably need to do DL, and we probably need to do like this to get out of the whole system32 directory. So let's do DL, and we have actually the user flag like that. So that's it. We can actually do net users to see like the users in the box, and we can actually do net users Joan dot Jennings. Yeah, and we can actually see a couple of stuff here. So who am I, and then who am I, like tag all. So we need to see like some of the privileges here, and normally we have a group that is not it's not like a default group, so you would need to look into this, and actually to hint you, this is actually the method to get root. But anyway, so let's try to find a way to download this LDAP information. So crackmap exec learn how data. So using crackmap exec to download data. normally it's a very simple way to do it. So let's see. Okay, yeah, we are stuck with deleting these guys here, so I'll just copy the whole of this and then get rid of that. Okay, looks like I did little more than what I was supposed to do. So what I'll do, I think I'll do duck bloodhound. Well, for this one I'm not so sure, but we can actually do duck zip. So unrecognized. Okay, let's see from this guy here. Okay, so wait, why are we getting this thing? Like, bro, explain what is happening here. Okay, is he even downloading? He's doing like something totally different with what we want. Okay, let's get this on here running. And can we actually find like bloodhound? CME to bloodhound. Okay, so tag m is for bloodhound. So okay, that's interesting. We don't want that. We actually want to download the data. So yeah, we want to download the bloodhound data. So let's see. It's probably a very easy option, which you can always get like using crack map exec and then tac help. So LDAP. Okay, my bad. LDAP, and then okay, well, probably doesn't use LDAP protocol to get the whole thing. So SMB, like that. Okay. Well. Are we getting anything here? Really? Okay. Let's just find someone who has already done it. SQL upload. Yeah, we just need to know how to Google this stuff. So module integration to its arsenal. Yeah, this looks like a good one. Okay, let's see. Oh, you just use the TACM, so for like module and all that. Okay, that was a pico. TACM, bloodhound, and then what? TACzip. Can we use like zip file, TACM bloodhound, and maybe we want it in like zip file. So let's see. Well, that's not recognizable. Okay. So can we send like the output there? No, we can't do that. So let's see if this guy explains it. Well, if he doesn't, we just like dump the whole data just there. So we need like the name server also, and collection is all. But then why don't you have like placing the whole thing in like a zip file? Come on, guys, let's be real. So tac ns, is it tac? Okay, and then the IP address, right? Okay, so just copy that, and then you need this guy here, tac collection. Wait, what? Yeah, tac correction all. Okay, so doesn't recognize that, so I'll just pass. The module is not found, so probably the crackmark exec is not actually the latest version. So what do we do? Let's use netexec. Yeah, so okay, invalid argument for bloodhound. Well, I have a feeling that you just need to like use the tac bloodhound. Okay, this is now getting tedious. Um, let's find out if we could use actually bloodhound.py. Let's see if this works now. If it errors out, we just call it a night and we say, so the resolution lifetime expired. Oh, let's just say this won't work, probably. Uh, let me just check in my notes if we could actually use another method. And let's see. So I'm just copying this from my notes, but I really wonder, this is not even about like, not even about like the command, because I highly doubt like the command is wrong, and then .65. Well. Yeah, we really need to revise this. TAQ, calmol, TACP, TACGEC, like bro, this is the same thing we've been trying. Like, come on, guys. Why are we doing it wrong? Oh, okay. For the domain name, we were actually messing up by using the DC. Just need like the domain name, and here you kind of write the DC one. So it's actually getting the output right now, and we actually have the output here. So let's just move. Let's just go back to home like that, and then you can actually move temporarily in this file here to this location. So that being said, let's now do like some static analysis on this bloodhound data. So I'll just launch my neo4j. So I'll just launch the server here, and then we can actually launch the bloodhound GUI. Okay, so we just wait for this to start running, and then can we? Yeah, it's actually up, as you can see here. So neo4j and then my password. So it's a success. So okay, let's clear the data. Oh shit, let's just clear the sessions, clear the database. Yeah, that's a lot of information being sold out there. Okay, so probably that will be removed. So yeah, pretty much it. Now we can actually import. How are we doing this again? Upload data, and then we'll actually go to presentations and then get this data here. So just copy it, clear when finished. Yeah, after this you'll see the guys who also made this tool are crazy. Let's see. Yeah, it's asking you really, because it's only one sheet there. So okay, so let's go to analysis, and we saw like there's a group called legacy. So let's just go there. Okay, and for the information, you can see that it has like 10 reachable hosts. like high value targets. So where is it again? So it's legacy, and it actually has write DCL to the group GPO, the group policy object. So you can actually add your own policy, and then in the policy you can add like scheduled task that will be run, and then you can in the task you can maybe add yourself to the administrator. So since this has like generic or meaning, like whatever you can do with it is actually limitless, more of like you can edit like everything in terms of the group the objects in the AD. So this was actually what I just wanted to show you. So since we have Amelia Griffith as our shell as user Amelia Griffith, you can actually set her as owned, and then for the analysis you can actually come down here to check if you can actually try to compromise her or rather escalate privileges from her privileges. You can see that she can be able to log in or rather RDP to this person here. So that's pretty handful. The outbound is actually very interesting, and you'll see outbound is actually really interesting. So she's a group of that legacy thing, and then the legacy thing has this write DCL like discretionary access list. So you can actually write to those stuff. So pretty much it. That's all for what I wanted to talk about Windows exploitation. There's more. You can actually go check more into Kerberos. There are ways you can actually gain foothold use by abusing how Kerberos works, but mostly not in the latest version. So pretty much it. That's all for the demo. I hope you enjoyed.